And so now here we are, 30 years later, huge global problem that no one is talking about it because we are so incredibly ashamed of saying, I don't feel man enough. Who wants to say it? Who do you even say that to? You don't tell your wife or your partner. You don't tell your best friends because we kind of want to feel like everything's good, nothing's wrong. And you don't really trust your doctor to go to them and say, hey, I feel like less of a man. It's a really difficult thing to even have a conversation about.
Health, fitness, mindset, nutrition. Live better and longer. I'm Saad Alam, and let's hone in.
Hey, this is Hone In, and I am your host, Saad Alam. So, first question, why should you listen to this podcast, when we know there are millions out there? Well, I'm happy you asked. But to answer this question, I just got to tell you a little bit more about me. I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm an entrepreneur. That means I've got to be full of energy. I can't ever slow down. And here's what happened when I turned 35. I was on top of the world, and it all changed so incredibly fast. I started feeling foggy. I was having trouble waking up in the morning. I was exhausted. I was unmotivated all the time, and that's the opposite of my personality. I just didn't want to do anything. Then all of a sudden, my sleep started to be really bad. And I've never been the type to sleep in. I've got the most meticulous sleep routine. I never hit snooze, but I just couldn't get out of bed. Then all of a sudden, the one thing that I loved, which was going to the gym, it started to feel like such a chore. I started to struggle to focus on simple tasks. I couldn't remember things that normally came to me so easily. I couldn't do simple calculations in my head. And here's the worst thing. I've got so many people that love me in my life. And I started to become impatient with them. Whether they were family members, whether they were colleagues, I just snap at them. And then my health suffered. I started to gain weight. And even as I was dialing in my diet, everything just took so much more effort. I started to eat more protein. I started doing intermittent fasting. I changed my supplementation. But here's the reality. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get up and down the basketball court any faster. My workouts didn't change. My memory didn't improve. And then the straw that really broke the camel's back, my sex drive plummeted. I know you know about this. Every now and then, the plumbing just doesn't work, and it's terrifying. Now, here's the thing. I was so afraid. I started to question myself as a man, and here's the reason why. When my father turned 35, was right around the same age this started happening to me. Here's the smartest guy I know. He's a PhD in particle physics from Stanford, and all of a sudden, he got type 2 diabetes. He didn't take it seriously. That type 2 diabetes turned into type 1 diabetes. That type 1 diabetes turned into dialysis. If you've ever seen someone you love have to get tethered to a dialysis machine 3 or 4 days a week, it is heartbreaking. It's hard for them. It's hard for the family. We spent every one of those days with him at dialysis, and it was terrifying every single time. Now, here's the thing about kidney disease. It doesn't get better, ever. That turned into multiple strokes. That turned into years in the hospital. That turned into my family being there by his side, and it fundamentally changing every single thing I thought about the healthcare system and why we should take care of ourselves. And that's why we're here. Now let's cut back to my own journey. Here I am. I'm sitting in the doctor's office. I'm so hopeful that he's going to give me an unbelievable answer. And here's what he comes back and tells me. Well, Saad, this is just all part of getting older. You just have to deal with it. And let me tell you what I thought. I said, that's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. I know my body. I'm so in tune with it, and none of this was normal. So I left his place, and after 6 months of seeing specialist after specialist and undergoing tons of tests, I got an answer. And it was the one thing that I just never expected. And I'll never forget them saying it. Saad, you've got the testosterone levels of an 80-year-old man. So let me pause on that for a second. Let me help you understand what is happening in men's bodies. So from the age of 30 onwards, we lose about 1 to 2 percentage point of our ability to naturally produce hormones every single year. So that's happening in my body. So I kind of knew about that. But the thing that was scary, actually terrifying, is I learned that 40% of men over 35 suffer from hormonal imbalances and low testosterone. Think about that for a second. Look around you and think of 4 out of the 10 people that you walk by on the street that are in their 30s, we have problems with their hormones. So the next natural question that you ask is, how big is that problem really, and why the hell is it happening? Well, here's what I found. When you look at men 30 years ago, just 30 years ago, they had 26% more testosterone and 50% more sperm. So we're saying in 3 decades, we have lost 50% of our ability to produce sperm. That's terrifying. Now, why is it happening? When you look at all the plastics, the fertilizers, the phthalates in our food and our drinking water, what we find is that for men, they resemble estrogenic compounds. And those estrogenic compounds, they tell the hormone regulating centers in our brain to shut down natural production. And so now here we are, 30 years later, huge global problem that no one is talking about it because we are so incredibly ashamed of saying, I don't feel man enough. Who wants to say it? Who do you even say that to? You don't tell your wife or your partner. You don't tell your best friends because we kind of want to feel like everything's good, nothing's wrong. You don't tell your parents, and you don't really trust your doctor to go to them and say, hey, I feel like less of a man. It's a really difficult thing to even have a conversation about. Now, when your total testosterone level is less than 300 nanograms per deciliter, you start to have symptoms like I was facing. And we define this as clinically low testosterone, what we call hypogonadism, or what some people call low T. Now, when my doctor told me that I needed to start testosterone replacement therapy, I immediately thought about all the rumors about the back alley clinics, the massive bodybuilders, the late night infomercials, and that had serious health issues misusing anabolic steroids. I realized there was not a place for men to go to actually find out the why about why they suddenly felt horrible, or there was nowhere we can get information on how to feel better. No one talks about hormone health. Why would we? That's not the way we're conditioned to think as a society. And when it's discussed, it's often shrouded in this judgment. The second you say it, people always kind of look at you like something's wrong, or maybe you're kind of involved with some things that probably aren't very savory, when the reality is you can't even help it right now. It took me a long time to feel comfortable discussing what was happening to me. But when I did, I found thousands of other men dealing with low T, and they felt just like me. We felt isolated, we felt alone, and we were all hungry for science-backed information and actionable tips about how we could optimize our health. We're all in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and I think the world has changed. A lot of us used to think when you get to that age, things start to slow down, but it's the opposite. We now have demanding jobs. We've got parents that are aging that we've got to take care of. We've got partners and spouses that need more support and we need to be there for. We've got children. Our lives are crazy. And there's just not enough high quality information to help people just like us figure out how to really optimize our lives. The challenge to get credible information isn't limited to testosterone. We are bombarded all the time with health information on social media, in news, by our friends that heard something. There are fad diets that are popping up left and right. They're championed by uninformed influencers. We're beginning to hear about procedures that are cheaper overseas, and we're hearing about all of the health problems that come with it. It is just incredibly hard to find reputable wellness experts, but here's the thing. They're out there. And I have made it my personal mission to find them and bring you their knowledge in an easy to digest format. And that's why I founded Hone. We are the largest men's hormone clinic in the country. We're a modern health platform that provides personalized care with data-driven insights, licensed physician consultations, and medications, all of which you can access from the comfort and the privacy of your home. And we help you save so much time because you don't have to constantly drive back and forth to the physician's office and go to different testing facilities. We make it a seamless experience for you. And we are launching the women's side of the business in the coming year. Research shows being short on testosterone can shorten your life. And that's what I want to talk about. That is what the real North Star is at Hone. It's about increasing your lifespan and your health span. We want to make sure that you can live longer and you can live better. Your lifespan is your age. It's the number of candles you blow out each year. But more importantly, your health span is your years of healthy life or years of life spent free of disease. And everything we do as a company, everything is designed to help you live the longest, healthiest life possible. What people don't realize is if you go on social, you're seeing 80 and 90-year-olds run 26-mile marathons regularly now. And what people don't realize, that is within reach of every single one of us if we just start taking care of ourselves right now and we increase, not our lifespan, but we focus on increasing our health span. And that's what we do. We are rolling out the blueprint that helps you live the longest, healthiest life possible. So let me tell you about how Hone is broken down. We've got the part of the business that helps serve patients. We've got our editorial site. It's called The Edge. It is powered by a team of award-winning journalists who dig into the latest health discoveries, they test new gear, and they talk to leading physicians and subject matter experts to provide you with tips and advice on how to help you achieve your wellness goals. And now, here's the third part. There's Hone In. This is the podcast that cuts through the noise. We bring you the latest, most groundbreaking science in nutrition, fitness, sex, mental health, and really anything that can help you live a longer, stronger, healthier life. Hone In is about having real, and here's the most important thing, judgment-free conversations. It is a safe place to get answers to the problems that are keeping you from living life to the fullest. I want you to join us each week for a new interview with a leading expert in the health and wellness world. These are people that are on the front line, leading change, doing the most recent experiments, and leading the charge. And we're going to make sure that you get that information before anyone else does. You'll gain inspiration, insight, wisdom, and I can also promise we're going to have some fun along the way. We want to hear from you. We want you to DM us on social. We want you to sign up for a newsletter, shoot us an email, and let us know the topics you want us to hone in on. Thank you for listening to Hone In. I'm Saad Alam, and we'll see you next week.